I'm not even sure what to call this video. Because I was lucky enough that I did the Doctor Who Classic, then I did Doctor Who Modern, and I thought, oh, that's clever. I can do that. But now we're doing Torchwood, and it's like, I don't know what to call this, actually, that makes the title different from the video I put out 6 years ago.
Just Doctor Who Side Trip.
Yeah, maybe just Torchwood with Dad. I also don't know, should I put this in its own playlist, or should I put it in the Modern playlist? I don't know. I was clearly not prepared to do Torchwood, which is why we're not doing all of Torchwood. So, in that same respect, should I even have the Doctor Who stuff on the table? It's all Doctor Who specifically. It doesn't matter.
It's a spin-off.
I can't be bothered to get rid of it now.
We're good.
Well, yeah, it'll work.
All right.
Hey guys, Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films, and today we're starting a tour of Torchwood. We've explained this in the modern Doctor Who episodes, but basically we are watching some episodes of Torchwood. We're not watching the whole thing. Now, a lot of people have said that you should still watch the in-between episodes just on your own time, not on camera, and maybe we could do something like that. I don't know when. I don't know when you could do that, but maybe. And maybe we'll just give a quick overview at the beginning of the next episode. But yeah, we're doing some episodes of Torchwood because I'm old and jaded and can't be bothered to do the whole thing and add an entire other series to the list. So yeah, we're doing episode 1 today. We'll be back in a couple weeks on whatever day that means, a couple weeks. And funny enough, we're actually going to be doing episode 2 because it's a very infamous episode of Torchwood. And then after that, I guess we can just give the rundown of the season. So we'll be doing episode 1, episode 2. Then we're going to jump over to episode 6 because it's a really, really good episode. And then after that, I think we're just going to go straight to episode 12 and episode 13 because it's kind of a 2-part finale, and then we'll go over to season 2. Okay. So, but yeah, I don't know how much prelude there needs to be about this. I guess if anyone is new here, and that'd be weird that you're watching Torchwood specifically and not watching our Doctor Who reactions, but just in case, I have seen everything except for Class, but I've seen all of Doctor Who, all of Torchwood, all of the Sarah Jane Adventures. He has watched classic Doctor Who, and a handful of modern episodes, as well as the first 2 seasons of modern Doctor Who. We're going through modern Doctor Who now, which means I'm rewatching it, and that's how we're doing this, where I'm rewatching Torchwood, he's watching it for the first time. So, you have any thoughts or questions going into it?
No, I mean we've already established that Torchwood was established by Queen Victoria because she thought the Doctor was some kind of supernatural being instead of an extraterrestrial. We've had discussions about why Torchwood never showed up until modern Who.
Yeah.
No, other than that, so I have the essential background I think that we need. They introduced Captain Jack Harkness in the World War II episode.
Yeah.
With the ninth Doctor, first new Doctor.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty much caught up. And by the way, one of the reasons we're not going to be able to do all of this together is that, again, my time is about to get very busy because we're recording this on a Saturday morning. On Monday evening, I start rehearsals for The Scarlet Pimpernel, which I am directing.
Yeah, and also because my motivation to edit Doctor Who has insanely plummeted over the past year, and so I just think doing every episode of Torchwood on top of that, I think that would just be too much for me to do. I do other shows here on the channel. I know they're not as popular, but not that they're way more fun to record, but I do really enjoy them, and I can't really make room anymore. When I first started Torchwood, I don't think I was really doing anything else. I was doing Doctor Who, Torchwood, and maybe Stranger Things at the time. So yeah, the schedule now is much different than it used to be. I used to have more time to do Torchwood, but we've got a highlight. Last time we saw Captain Jack was the Ninth Doctor's last episode, where he was trapped, 200,000 years in the future or something. So, but yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Yeah, other than I've said before, this is also when this is what they call the watershed in Britain for British TV, where after a certain time of night, they will start putting on more mature programming, and Torchwood fit that bill basically. If they wanted it to be more mature, like Doctor Who is incredibly family friendly, and this is more for the adult Doctor Who fans.
Yeah, the United States did that too. I can't remember exactly when, but it was supposed to be like here in the Central Time Zone where we are, 7 to 9 p.m. was family stuff, and it was only after 9 p.m. that you could do, the adult drama, soap operas, and things like that.
Yeah, so I guess I don't really do that anymore because who cares?
Yeah.
A, there's 5 million channels. B, there's 5 million streaming services. So just put the show where you need it. Yeah. So yeah. Also, we're watching this on Max. I still hate saying that, but we're watching this on Max. The last time I tried watching Doctor Who on Max, some people talked about like a weird frame rate issue with the full length. I hope that doesn't affect this episode, because I don't know where else I can get Torchwood without just buying the whole friggin' thing, and I don't know if I want to do that. So hopefully everything works out and we can just watch this episode and enjoy it. And once again, we'll be back in a couple weeks to do episode 2. I'll say on the modern Doctor Who episode if we're gonna do a Torchwood episode that week. And this is gonna take us through like I want to say series 5 of Doctor Who that we're gonna be doing random Torchwood and Sarah Jane episodes. So yeah,
sounds good to me.
With that said, let's just jump right into episode 1 of Torchwood. Here we go.
Now, when they introduced Torchwood back in the Ninth Doctor, had they planned on doing this, or was it just supposed to be something that filled in parts of Doctor Who?
I don't know.
Who's Torchwood?
Special ops or something. Is that what?
Oh yeah, have it. But they're not allowed in there. They can contaminate the evidence and all sorts. I mean, how come they...
Not angry. There's no procedure anymore. It's a fucking disgrace.
Ooh. That water has been shed.
Seems like an awful lot of water for being an indoor garage.
Well, yeah.
Contraceptives in the rain. Love this planet. Still, at least I won't get pregnant. Never doing that again. How's it going?
We've only got 2 minutes, so it's important that you listen, okay?
Who are you?
Trust me. You're dead.
How am I dead?
You were stabbed.
I'm not dead. I can see you.
We've brought you back, but we haven't got long. I'm sorry, but you've got to concentrate. Who did this to you? What did you see?
Why am I dead?
Who attacked you?
I don't want to be dead.
60
Eh.
seconds.
John, tell me what you saw.
10 seconds.
Nothing. I saw nothing.
I didn't see
Oh my
anything
God,
when I
there's
died.
nothing.
Maybe there's no right way of doing it. What do you think?
That rain had to be blowing sideways practically to get all that floor wet. So she went back to the station, blow dried her hair, then came home.
Who are they? What's Torchwood?
Don't know. Special ops?
Yeah, but what does that mean?
I bet you 10 quid they're DNA specialists. Sort of DNA these days. Like that CSI bollocks. CSI Cardiff, I'd like to see that. Be measuring the velocity of a kebab.
Anyway, I don't know if you saw a man come through here. A tall man. In one of those big sort of military coats.
You can't see that from that far away.
Okay.
Oh, there's a face. Nice one. Hey, tell you, mate, you should try plastic surgery, not on the NHS, mind. You alright?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, that is brilliant. That's like, Hellraiser. That's first class, that is. Look at that. That is just like real teeth on it.
So who is he? American volunteer. Royal Air Force 123 Squadron. Except he disappeared.
Vanished off the records, presumed dead.
When was that?
1941, at the height of the Blitz.
January 41 is before the United States entered World War II.
You lot! Oi! Torchwood!
Oi, you can't leave that there.
Police!
I can see that, love. And you're still not leaving it there. I'm talking to you.
They're all Batman.
Excuse me.
Okay, never mind. Thanks anyway. I don't suppose you got a Torchwood?
Oh, aye. We do them all the time. Good customers.
Oh, hiya. Sorry I'm late. Someone ordered pizza?
What's it for?
I think it's... I'm Mr. Harkness.
Go keep on waiting.
Well, they really trust the pizza man. Hand in a jar. Perfectly normal.
And before we go any further, who the hell orders pizza under the name of Torchwood?
Yeah, that'd be me. Sorry, I'm a twat.
What is Torchwood? Who are you? What is this place?
Oh, jeez.
What was that? Pterodactyl.
Are you coming?
He's very friendly.
Is an indoor pterodactyl.
House trained.
It's called a Weevil. Or at least we call them Weevils. We don't know their real name because they're not too good at communicating. But we've got a couple of hundred of them in the city, living in the sewers, feeding off the... Well, it's the sewers.
He's the lesser of two Weevils.
But every once in a while...
But they can see the lift. Why aren't they? I mean... We are right out in the open. They can see everything.
Do they look like they can see us?
No, but look at us. We couldn't be any more public. How does it work?
No idea. We know how to use it, not how it happens. But if I were to guess, I would say that there was once a dimensionally transcendental chameleon circuit placed right on this spot, which welded its perception properties to a spatial-temporal rift. Well, that sounds kind of ridiculous. Invisible lift has got more of a ring to it, don't you think?
But hold on, if no one can see it when the lift's coming up, there's a bloody big hole in the floor. Don't people fall in?
That is so Welsh.
What is?
I show you something fantastic. You find fault.
So this is the same temporal rift from Cardiff before.
Yep.
What about the Battle of Canary Wharf? A Cyberman in every home.
My boyfriend says it's like a sort of terrorism. Like they put drugs in the water supplies. Psychotropic drugs. Causing mass hallucinations and stuff.
Yeah, well, your boyfriend's stupid.
Oh, you've met him. You catch aliens.
Yep.
You catch aliens for a living.
Yes, we do.
You're an alien catcher.
Yes, I am.
Got any good aliens?
Tons of them.
That's a hell of a job.
The 21st century's when it all changes, and you gotta be ready.
But who's in charge of you? Is it the government or what?
We're separate from the government, outside the police, beyond the United Nations.
Just on his
When
acquaintance.
power got hold of this stuff, they could use it for their own purposes.
But so could you.
All alien technology stays on the base. No one's allowed to take anything outside.
And yet, Torchwood opened the rift and let the Daleks and the Cybermen through. Entirely different Torchwood.
Well, it was still within Torchwood HQ. They didn't know the Daleks were gonna come through. See, look at this responsible team, keeping everything on the base.
This is Torchwood 3.
Ah.
Torchwood 1 was London.
destroyed in the battle. Torchwood 2 is an office in Glasgow. Very strange man. Torchwood 3, Cardiff. Torchwood 4 has kind of gone missing, but we'll find it one day.
Meh.
All sorts of things get washed up here. Creatures, time shifts, space junk, debris. Flotsam and jetsam.
Sounds like Cardiff, yeah.
Hey, don't knock it. I'm a citizen.
Have you poisoned me?
Don't be so dramatic. It's an amnesia pill. My own recipe with a touch of denial and a dash of retcon. Wake up tomorrow morning, you'll have forgotten everything about Torchwood. Worse still, you'll have forgotten me.
Son, do you want a drink? Or what?
Pheromones.
Alien pheromones. Wow, an alien book scanner.
Tis a far, far better thing I do than I have ever done.
Makes it easier.
No, just delete the document, not the computer. Should have turned your Wi-Fi off. Ah, he's like Batman. You think they just put a mannequin that looked like him up there?
Been there.
So I was there 2 days ago. You can't delete that.
You're going to put up a fight, so I've got... hold on, sorry.
Absent-minded killer.
There it is.
There, that's better. I loved this job. I really loved it. And now I've got to run.
Should have thought of that before you killed people.
But maybe there's better stuff out there. Brilliant stuff. Beautiful stuff. Just... they don't come here. This planet's so dirty, that's all we get, shit. And that's why the perception filter isn't going to work on me.
Put down the gun.
Susie, it's over.
It's like Wolverine.
I remember.
Well, there is a job opening. No more books. No more orgies. There are vastly different things you're using this tech for.
But she killed you.
Got better.
Something happened to me a while back. Long story and far away. But I was killed. And then I was brought back to life, and ever since then, I can't die.
But how...
I don't know. One day I'll find a doctor, the right sort of doctor, and maybe he can explain it, but until then...
Nothing kills you? What do you need me for?
Because maybe you were right. We could do more to help.
Neat.
What do you think? You want to join up?
I do, yes.
Is he like just standing around on rooftops, does he?
Wouldn't you? If you couldn't die? I don't know who let the pterodactyl out. Alrighty. That is episode 1.
Okay.
Welcome to Torchwood.
Well, I'm somewhat surprised at the huge amount of exposition. I mean,
Yeah.
although they had set up Torchwood previously. They explained a whole lot about this particular Torchwood 3, but didn't go into, he hasn't explained yet, this goes all the way back to Queen Elizabeth, and I'm so-and-so, and these people are where they're from.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to say that was confusing, but it was unexpected. I expected, here's the setup. Kind of like they did, it's Men in Black, same idea, protecting the Earth from the scum of the universe. Again, I'm not disappointed. It's kind of surprising the way they've gone about it in a very low-key kind of way.
Yeah, where with Torchwood 1, we saw, hundreds and hundreds of personnel, and, they had soldiers and scientists and all this stuff. They had an entire tower within London. In Cardiff, it's 5 people in underground. That's kind of it. He even says, there's Torchwood 2. It's really just one guy in Glasgow. Torchwood 4, it's gone. They'll find it someday. So, it's, I don't know, maybe that's like a subtle jab at, like, London versus the rest of the, well, I was going to say country, but the rest of the United Kingdom itself. Yeah. So.
And by the way, the Scots pronounce it Glasgow.
Yeah, so. So yeah, it is a very strange, it's a very small team as opposed to the Torchwood that we saw.
Now, in that last episode with the Ninth Doctor and the Daleks, is that where he was killed and then revived?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the reason why he can't die. It doesn't know why.
Yeah, is basically that Rose brought him back to life. And that is the state that he is currently in. He is back to life, and he doesn't understand why. But, and to be fair, he doesn't even fully know what Rose did because A, he was dead, and B, they left immediately and didn't talk to him because the Doctor was regenerating. So that's what he's saying is hopefully he'll find the right kind of doctor and he can explain it to him. So,
and again, absolutely no mention of Doctor Who or that Torchwood had been set up, basically to monitor his actions on Earth. So again, that's kind of surprising. I'm assuming that Russell T. Davies assumed that everybody who was watching this would have watched Doctor Who, but if you had never watched Doctor Who, this would make very little sense.
Yeah, It definitely it also kind of brings similarities to Doctor Who of now Captain Jack is the mysterious leader and yeah, if you haven't watched Doctor Who and you're just watching Torchwood, it is an interesting jumping on point for the series. It's okay, so this is kind of interesting sci-fi / police drama almost, and yeah, you just hear that little bit of, a certain, the right kind of doctor. You hear about, the perception filter, and you're like, oh, okay, what's that? It's almost like, it's almost like watching modern Doctor Who, and you start to hear things, and you're like, I wonder what those are, and then you go and you see that in classic Doctor Who, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So.
Now, she looks like the actress that played that Marvel superhero, one of the Defenders.
Jessica Jones?
Yeah, Jessica Jones. She looks a little like that.
Yeah. I thought you were going to actually guess where she was from. Do you remember the third episode, The Unquiet Dead, with Charles Dickens?
Yes.
And the girl who was there, who was eventually controlled by the Gelth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the same actor. And because that was in the same place, basically, in Cardiff. So it's all kind of building on that. We're basically going back to the Rift. So it's the same actor from that episode where they first established it. So,
but she's not the same person.
No. Okay. Not the same person. Because I think her name was Gwyneth in that one. Here, her name is Gwen. But she died at the end of that episode. Yeah. So, but yeah. Well, what do you think of the Torchwood team? So we've got Captain Jack, who we've at least seen in season 1.
Who's a bit of a rogue.
Yeah.
He's a Indiana Jones kind of character.
Yeah. We've got Gwen. We've got Owen Harper, the Doctor. We've got Toshiko. They generally call her Tosh. And then Susie, and then Yanto. He was in the suit. So
yeah, we didn't really see him a lot.
No.
Does he play a larger part later on?
Yeah, I think so. Like he's more kind of in the background right now. They say like he cleans up the messes, but like at the beginning of the episode, like he wasn't out there when they were talking to the body. So, but yeah, what do you think of the team?
Well, I mean, let's face it. If you had technology that would allow you to read a book in 10 seconds, again, that's something that every college kid would love to have. Save you the interminable, sometimes, writing from, the 1600s on that I don't want to say we're forced to read it. We need to read it. I mean, there's, as history majors, both of us, that there is certain literature that encapsulates a time period better than the actual facts. There's that old saying that never let a few facts get in the way of a good story. So that's interesting, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. What he was doing, what the Doctor was doing, using the alien pheromones, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
And then the Doctor with the glove, or whoever she was, she was. Again, she said, "Think what we could do with it." You start going around resurrecting bodies, especially if people know that a person has been killed. Just like when she watched him revive the guy there in the street. That's going to create more problems than it solves.
Yeah.
Also gets to the fact that, if you continue using it and, nobody dies, that will eventually lead to, overpopulation.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the recent Dungeons and Dragons movie, where they had the whole thing of like they digged up the warriors because they could revive them long enough to ask them questions, and it's like you get 5 questions and they just completely blundered each one and just kept asking different questions accidentally, and then they just pass out. So it was kind of like that. But yeah, it was interesting with Susie, like just sort of kind of losing herself a little bit, and going more into the science and what can we do with this, and it's like, but you're just killing people in cold blood, with a very distinctive knife, so
now they could have, hate to use the word ameliorated that, but they could have lessened that a little bit if instead of killing just ordinary innocent people, that she was tracking down murderers or extreme bad people and killing them.
Yeah. And because it's also the thing of, like, she said, Torchwood kind of deals with the filth. It's not the glamorous side of aliens where, they get the Weevils, they get all the crap that, is just sort of literally just crapped out through the rift. And it's like, well, this isn't magical, this isn't whimsical, this isn't, the crazy man in a suit and a box, dealing with giant spider people. So
now there's a certain logic to that, though, because civilizations that are more advanced would look at Earth and say, these are very primitive people, and we don't need to bring our technology to them because that would upset their natural development, their natural evolution. On the other hand, the bad people, the scum of the universe, look at Earth and, like the Sycorax, and who are the fat people in the suits?
The Slitheen.
The Slitheen, yeah. They look at Earth as something to be plundered because we are so primitive that they feel, and again, hate to get into the whole colonial thing, it's their burden to move the humans aside so that this more advanced technology can then reap the profit and the benefits of the Earth.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing. Like, also just setting it apart from Doctor Who with this is like this isn't the glamour. It is kind of like Men in Black, where it's like we're not going to the aliens are coming to us, and so we're having to deal with it. But I do like at the end when Jack says, "No, I think you're right, Gwen. Maybe we can help. Instead of just because that's all they were doing was just going to these victims and just using the glove just to see what they can accomplish with it." And then obviously Susie took that too far, but they could help track down the murderer. Like they could help with these strange things that they have. I mean, it also sets Torchwood apart from the Torchwood we saw at the end of season 2, where there was this alien that was their ship was hovering over our planet, so we shot it down, we killed all of them, we took all their parts, and we made this big death laser that we can shoot other aliens down with. And it's like, okay, that's a problem. It's exactly what Queen Victoria wanted, but it is a problem. So
now there was also this final image here leaves me with another question. She's apparently in this long-term relationship with her boyfriend, and seems to be in the first encounter with him. She seems to be very loving. But when she's sitting in the bar with Captain Jack, she literally says, when he says, "Your boyfriend must be stupid," she goes, "Oh, you've met him." That really kind of sets up a very odd dynamic between her boyfriend and her.
Yeah. He's definitely just the normal person, honestly. He's like, they have that moment where when she's trying to remember everything, there's the shot where it's her and her partner, and he's just jabbering on. Then she goes home, her boyfriend is jabbering on about stuff, and she's just trying to remember everything. And he's just he really is just a normal person. So I don't know, I think we might be skipping some episodes where he does some stuff, so maybe we will at least still watch those episodes in between, if not even if we're not filming the reactions to them. So just so you get everything. But because see, it is sort of a half and half on this, because I watched this and I'm like, oh yeah, this was an interesting first episode and stuff, and I'm like, but I just cannot do all of these videos again. I mean, this is a 13 episode season, like with Doctor Who, and I can't do that again. Yeah. I can only do some of them. So, but maybe it'll be a little bit, because we are going to do episode 2 next. So maybe after we do episode 2, we'll just watch on our own. Just watch 3, 4, and 5 before we record episode 6.
Okay.
So
sounds good to me.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's pretty much it. You got anything else about Torchwood?
Now, again, going back to our background in history, I have to say, although I like it and I want to keep watching it, I'm not as engaged as I was back in 1963, or when you and I started watching the original Doctor Who. All right, that one grabbed me right off the bat, and again, I watched it nonstop right until we left Great Britain in '66. And I'm glad that we've now caught up and I've been able to see all the Doctors and all this. This, again, I'm looking at it. If I had never watched Doctor Who, I would probably give it a couple of more episodes, but I don't know. And again, like you say, unless the next couple of episodes really kind of establish a little bit more what's going on, it's not a grabber.
Yeah,
like the original Doctor Who, or like the revival. With the If I had never watched classic Doctor Who, but you got the Autons or whatever they were, and Nine grabbing her hand and just saying run, that was a grabber. And then following that, I think I would have continued watching that.
Yeah.
So this is again, I'm not disappointed. I just kind of it seems to me very odd that it wasn't more action oriented. It was very, very talky. It was very, very existential. What is it all about? So for a science fiction series, it's I don't want to say it was too talky, but there wasn't a lot of action.
Yeah, and like with Doctor Who, I mean, you watch the first episode and it's like, it's the heart-pounding action, with the Autons and stuff like that. You go to the second episode and it's a great sci-fi episode of, the end of the world and seeing all of that. You go to the third episode, it's a historical episode. It's like just those 3 episodes just give you everything that you're going to need from Doctor Who. Whereas this, because it sets itself apart so differently, this is kind of like I thought about it during the episode. It's like, it's kind of like the Third Doctor's era, where it's like, he's trapped on Earth, and you have just him working with UNIT, and they just kind of go out to a place and deal with aliens. Like, you're not going into space, you're not traveling back in time or anything. There's none of that in Torchwood, but unlike that, which had the military, it had Joe, and it had the Doctor, who was an alien, this is way more grounded than that. It just has real people. Like, the most fantastical thing is Jack, and that's just because he's Jack.
Yeah.
And he's so different from the Doctor, even, that it's just like probably what would hold you to Torchwood is just the fact that it is tied to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's good. It's fine, but I don't know if it would keep you if it didn't have Doctor Who. Yeah. So,
and the opening too, when it just said Torchwood, quite honestly, I was expecting the letters to be floating around and then ultimately spell out Torchwood. But I had no idea what Torchwood was, and then I heard either you or read somewhere that it's an anagram of Doctor Who.
Yeah,
and I thought maybe they would, you'd see the letters and you vaguely, corner of your eye catch Doctor Who, and then it would go to Torchwood. But it just the opening credits just seem kind of, I don't want to say they're flat, but they, again, not what I was expecting.
Yeah, it very much tries to separate itself.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the fact that it is a watershed television show, where it's like, you've got Doctor Who, which is perfect to put on, Christmas Day when you're eating your candy and you're opening your crackers, and you've got Nana on the couch over there, and you can put on Doctor Who and it's all nice and good. This is not the show you want to be showing Nana when she's on the couch, This is when people, especially the kids watching Doctor Who, they need to be asleep. They don't need to be watching this show. Yeah. And honestly, I'm going to be honest, this is one of their more tame episodes in terms of that kind of stuff.
One last thing. The guy who played the pheromones,
yes,
he looked very familiar. I can't remember what else he might have done that we would have seen.
He was actually in Pacific Rim. Oh. He was one of the 2 scientists that were there. He was the one that was like always talking about math and stuff with I think Charlie Day was the other guy with him. So I don't know if, I feel like we've seen him in something else and I just can't remember. But that's the main thing. I remember when I started watching this, I was like, wait a minute, I've never seen this guy before. So playing a very different character from that guy. So
yeah, I'm not a fan of Pacific Rim.
Yeah, I mean it's not like it's absolute cinema. It's just goofy fun robots versus kaijus. So anyway, that's Torchwood episode 1.
All right,
we'll come back in a few weeks and we'll do episode 2, because it is a very infamous episode of Torchwood. And then we'll take another break. We'll watch episodes 3, 4, and 5 on our own time. We'll come back for episode 6 because it's a genuinely great episode of Torchwood. So, but that is basically it. With all of that being said, we're Alex and Dan from 7th Hour Films, and we will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist of some kind. I haven't decided if it's going to be a Torchwood playlist or we're just putting it in the Modern Who playlist, but there's playlists that are down here. You can see them, obviously, with your eyes. Or not, I don't know. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.